We are having a very serious conversation about the finer part of putting your knee on someone's face or neck, which means it's time for Verbal Tap, the show that proves fighting is way easier from outside the cage. For example, no one will put their knee directly on your spine outside of the cage. With me, of course, Raf Esparza. Raf, how are you doing this evening?
It's just so mean.
The knee thing?
Yeah, it's so mean.
Sharpest part of your body. Wait, that's not right.
Don't.
What does it do?
All right, phrasing. So the weirdest part about it is of course, we were talking off air. Our buddy Travis Conley had a seminar out with us here in California. And one of the things he taught us was essentially putting your knee into someone's neck, which is the most politest way of saying, "Hi, training partner. I don't know you, but you're going to remember me for the next day and a half when you can't turn left."
When you have to Zoolander your way through life for the next 24 hours. And Raf, this is a great segue to introduce our guest. I assume you will put that move into your BJJ Finder. I'm sorry, your BJJ Training Journal app. You will send it to me, and then I can pull it up on my BJJ Training Journal app, and then I will know the move. Is that going to happen?
It could happen, and I'm proud of you for trying to integrate a nice transition to our pal Amechi Akpom from BJJ Training Journal. How you doing today, Amechi?
I'm doing well. Thank you. I appreciate the attempt as well. The BJJ Finder, though, that's another one of our friends' apps, though. So that's a super, right?
Yeah. I apologize in advance for the I'm on my game. That's always a great start. It's got BJJ. Who the fuck was listening?
Don't you feel that this is where you can get double injured though? Because Amici can obviously beat you up, and then the other person who might be mad that you screwed that up is your instructor, Andrew Correa.
Yeah, there's the definite cost benefit.
Hold on, wait. I foresee a wrist lock in your future.
Shut up. You don't know how close to home that is. He's been really on the wrist locks from turtle position. That's what he's been working on for 3 months.
So bad.
It fucking sucks every time.
Damn it. And it just makes
That's
you
not
so
fair.
gun shy to grab or do anything. Oh, yeah. I'm not a fan. I got these little pussy wrists, too. They're, so small. They're, they're great for getting under people's necks for rear naked chokes, but outside of that, they're worthless.
So I think for those of you who are wondering, what's Amici doing back here? I mean, first of all, dick move. He's a friend, so relax. And second of all, Amici's actually going to be playing an installment of Over Under Kevin with us in a little bit. But we wanted to, before we do all that and we get to the smack talk, we wanted to ask you, Amici, what have you been up to? What's going on, man?
Oh, you know what? I'll talk about that. But first, give me a second. I do want to thank you for having me on the show again, because I do like you guys, despite what I'm about to say. Because I also want to say screw you for having me on the show to do the Over Under Kevin, and I'm going to tell you why. Because episode number 69, right? James Coe. You played Over Under Kevin. Kevin made a specific request. Do you remember what that request was?
I don't know.
He asked for, I quote, "You need to get guests to play Over Under Kevin. They're maybe a little less articulate, not quite as well spoken, and aren't as quick." End quote. What's the first thing Raph does? Text me, "Hey, Michi, I got the perfect slot for you on today's show." So there you have it, the quintessential backhanded compliment, which I accept wholeheartedly. So
okay, I think I also said less good looking, but I can't remember for sure.
Throw it all in there, man.
Nailed it.
While I'm down,
Michi, I'll tell you this though, and clearly you've had a misread on my entire relationship with Kevin. When do you think I've ever actually treated him nicely?
Or listened to my suggestions on or off air, for that matter.
Checkmate, point taken. Yeah, okay.
So really, maybe I just upped the ante. Maybe James Coe was just like the appetizer and you're the main course.
Ooh.
I'm going to take it, My self-esteem will take any type of stroking, so I'm going to go with it. And yeah, man, I can rap about the journal real quick.
Go for it, dude.
The Android version is finally coming out, so we're going to be on iPhone, Android, and web version. So you don't need to borrow your girlfriend's, mobile phone anymore. And
all 7 of you that own an Android.
Shut up, Kevin.
Dude, internationally though, I get so many messages from folks outside the United States where Android's huge. So that's actually really cool.
I mean, if Kevin knew anything about the market and actually read a trade, he'd know it's way more competitive and that they do make really, really good efforts. They do fail a lot, but that people still buy them because they're cheaper. But I digress. That would involve Kevin to read a newspaper every once in a while. Gentlemen, let's get back on hand
Who
here.
reads
which is
newspapers?
right. That was the faultiest part of that logic. So Amechi has actually volunteered to stick around today, Kevin, to listen to our 1-minute review.
Really? Amechi, you're in for a treat. First of all, it saves you the time of having to watch all the boring, like, face-to-face with the camera where it's like, I just want to fight for my girlfriend. Raph sums it up in a beautiful, always specifically 1-minute review.
Yep.
At 61 seconds, he'll put the mic down. Like, that's how he... That's how he carries himself. Are you prepared for the spectacle?
I'm eager. I want to hear professionalism at its highest level. Capture the episode, every single tear that is shed on that show on Tough. It's worth it. Yeah. Bring it. I want to hear it.
All right.
There are a lot of tears.
There
All right.
so many tears.
Seriously,
ladies
honestly,
and gentlemen.
like, it's my girlfriend makes fun of it. It's like, when are they going to cry? When are they going to cry? Where are the tears? And she's always right. I mean, I can't say anything. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I was just thinking she would have loved the Rousey series. There's an excessive amount of crying. Ladies and gentlemen, warning. This is a 1-minute review of The Ultimate Fighter. And here we go.
Previously on The Ultimate Fighter, the worst reffing, decisioning, and Dana Whiting of all time happened as Roger Zapata kinda won a ridiculously improbable decision over Ian Stevens, and Dana had to be the voice of reason. Any of you fuckers want to win, you take those fucking judges out of the fucking equation. I'm out. Today, it's Anton Benson takes on Pat Walsh, The Ultimate Fighter, and tensions are at an all-time high at the Tough House. The cast members can't even clean their dishes without starting drama. Daniel Spawn says that he can understand it was a close decision, but asks, if it was so close, why did Ian have to go to the hospital? Diego is beside himself, using his serious voice for a change. Man, they know they lost. All of them are stupid, yo. It's like, you're gonna celebrate you won that fight, grow some balls, Have some respect, son, for serious. Not that it's going to go to Zapata's head, though. Those judges said I won that fight. Fuck all y'all. And then he gives a middle finger to everybody. Good news, everybody. Pat Walsh can't do anything right. He can't use a blender right. He's fat. He's from Boston. Shit, Boston. That explains everything. But he's cool with all the guys calling him Fat Pat. Shit, he's what passes for fat? Then what the hell does that make me? At practice, Frankie's got one thing on his mind. Frankie, 100% Ian should have won that fight, but he didn't. So you guys can't leave it to the fucking judges. Pat tells us that he grew up on a fisherman's household, but then found MMA when he knocked a black belt out in his very first fight, and he wants to do it again in his upcoming fight. Hell, even Anton's calling Fat Pat. And then you see that, seriously, guys, you're going to start giving this guy a complex if you keep calling him fat. And not that Anton wants to sound cocky, but he's pretty sure he's gonna knock Fat Pat out. Except BJ Penn has no idea what to do with Anton. Bro, I know I picked him first, but I have no idea what to do with him. But no worries, bro. He might win. Now remember, Anton's not trying to sound cocky, but he's pretty sure that Fat Pat is scared of him. So remember, opposite of cocky. Scared of him. But that's what, brings us to the entire Tough family coming together to watch fights, especially when there's a questionable reaction from the referees on TV that then, yes, prompts everyone to have problems. Corey Anderson sums it all up for us. I knew God was going to say something, because he was blue tea and he all got hurt about it, but, it's all cool because, these guys, their actor is so mad and it's crazy. That's when the two teams start arguing math. Let me repeat that again. Fighters who get punched in the head for a living argue about math. You can imagine how that goes. You know what doesn't break up a redundant fight amongst the cast and crew? Another ole, 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 ole chant. Yep, they did it again. Moments later, Daniel Spawn asks if anyone needs a tampon. Then, as if that wasn't bad enough, he clarifies. I asked if anyone needed a tampon because everyone's acting like a little bitch. Yep, we got it. You almost fooled us with that tricky metaphorical language there, Danny boy. A few seconds later, the Tough cameras catch up with Daniel Spawn again. They were running their mouths, and I was like, why not be a grown man? They're running their mouths off like bitches. Yep, still got it. So it's official. Daniel Spawn has never once told a joke in his life. You know things get weird when Gutter is the guy who steps back and lets cooler heads prevail. Man, the commercial break can't come fast enough here. At the campfire, Anton tells us he hasn't gone number 1 or number 2 since the weigh-ins, and he also reveals that his family came from Russia to America with nothing. Go USA! Anton gets ready for fight day by punching a teammate's ass cheek. Yes, you heard that right. Bad news. If you were taking a drink every time someone mentioned how fat Pat is, you'd be as fat as Pat is right now. Not that it bugs Fat Pat. His dreams are in that cage. He's a Mark Coleman style fighter, and he's going to show it in the octagon. Guys, look what you did to Dana that last week. He's not even coming around to watch the fights today. That's how angry he is. Round 1. Anton starts fast, establishing the pace and using his jiu-jitsu transitions to maneuver all around Pat. And since we've established how fat Pat is, you know that's quite a workout to maneuver all around him. You know what BJ's favorite thing to yell out during a fight is? He's tired, bro. Finish him. Oh, shit. Pat gets the sickest judo throw of the season, and it really knocks the wind out of Anton. Afterwards, Anton is starting to slow down, and we get to the ground. Now, Anton manages to get some hooks in and works for a finish, but Fat Pat keeps driving in and finds his way back to his feet. At the end of round 1, Fat Pat's starting to realize Anton's slowing down fast. Round 2. Hey, since we're in the mood for fat jokes, hey, Kev, ask me how fat is Pat Walsh?
How fat is Pat Walsh?
When he walks into the octagon, he's in both the red and blue quarter at the same time. Boom, roast kid. But Pat is doing a destructive job securing takedowns and putting pressure on Anton. Good news, everyone. We're going to a third round. Round 3. Hey, Kev, I can't help myself. One more time. How fat is Pat Walsh?
How fat is Pat Walsh?
Fat enough to make Anton regret making all of those Family Guy fat jokes, son. Pat gets another takedown here, and suddenly it's Anton who has the gas tank of a fatty. And after 2 rounds of being ignored, BJ pretty much just stops coaching Anton. Pat's in half, then 3/4, then full guard, and proceeds to neutralize the jiu-jitsu black belt the best way he knows how, with punches. End of fight. Pat Walsh advances to the next round. Later in the rock room, Anton asks for someone to close the door and apologizes to his team for gassing out like a fatty. BJ levels with us all. You know, as coaches, we are entirely to blame when a person loses, except in Anton's case, when he doesn't listen to a word he says. So, you know, this is entirely his fault, not ours, bro. Afterwards, Coleman tells Fat Pat his style reminds him of his own when he was in the UFC. Then Team Edgar goes right back to busting his balls and saying how fat he'll be in 2 weeks. Later, Frankie picks Mikey King versus Eddie Gordon. And BJ tells us he hopes Mike King is in shape. Hashtag foreshadowing. Next time on The Ultimate Fighter, Coach's Challenge. This time, it's in a kayak? Are we really starting to run out of ideas here, Dana? Anyway, then it's going to be Mike King, who hates dishes, who takes on Eddie Gordon, who says that this is going to be a one-side ass whooping when he takes on Mike King next time on The Ultimate Fighter.
Woo!
That was awesome. You know, my like I told you when we were talking off air, I had all of these episodes just I like to fast forward through them. So on my DVR, I'm a little bit behind. I'm gonna play catch up. ATTU verse, which I frankly hate right now. Their equipment broke again, wiped out every single episode. But now after that, I'm completely up to speed. Amazing work. Golf clap.
Yeah, and the good news is, Amechi, he's been reviewing each episode. So you can just go back on the podcast like anyone that's missed them and find them. Verbal tap on iTunes. 5 stars. Raph, I do quick housekeeping. Sorry, Amechi, we have to get in the details. Raph, that was 63 seconds.
Kev, here's the thing, though. You clearly are used to doing sexual things in less than a minute. So really, you're using your own off-base time track here, and I don't appreciate it.
I get why you'd go there. I just don't know why you had to say it was clear that I can do it under a minute. That was the only thing. It's like, what has Raph seen? Not important. That is, we'll sidebar that later.
Yeah, we will.
So, quick note. Your BJ Penn voice is getting shockingly good.
Thank you.
It's really
dead on.
I thought he stopped in to make asinine coaching comments on the podcast for a brief second. I was like, did Amechi bring BJ Penn in? That's shockingly timed, but pretty good. Amechi, do you feel caught up on The Ultimate Fighter now?
Absolutely. I can thank you verse now. Thank you for having such horrible Wi-Fi and on-demand services to where that I need to catch up on Verbal Tap podcast, which you can subscribe to in your any type of podcast.
Any type of podcast.
But,
Raph,
listening type thing. And so I highly recommend.
Eloquent. Raph, why wasn't Dana there? Do we know? Did he do a quick voiceover that's like, "I'm in fucking Phoenix"? Clip back to the show.
Not even that. I mean, he was
That
so
would've been
angry.
awesome.
Kev, I don't know if you saw the prior week's episode, but there was a decision that was so bad that Dana White retreated to his fortress of solitude after the second round, and it goes to a third round. He's like, "Fuck this," and he leaves. And I didn't know that he has this little fortress that he goes to when he's like in an angry Dana place. And so it's just a talking head of him going like, "Fuck Mazzagatti. Fuck that. He always fucking ruins fights. I'm in my fucking isolation tank and I'm fucking fuck. And then like maybe after the fight goes and it has a ridiculous decision, cut to Dana walking back out and being like, "What the fuck?" So it was the best melee of anything. So as far as I was concerned, I thought he was still stuck in that isolation chamber. But who knows? It could have been a fight week international wise. I just like to think that Dana was just so mad about last week. He's like, "Fuck you guys. I'm taking the ball and I'm leaving."
I'm still not coming back next week either. Fucking Mazzagatti. Well, artfully done. I feel completely caught up, and I've actually seen the most recent one. I had not seen that one, so that was really
okay. Well, I'm glad to fill in the rhetorical ellipsis for you, my friend.
Always helpful. I don't know what either of those words mean, but let's move on. That's what it feels like we should do.
I think so. Is it time for a over-under Kevin bumper real quick?
It's just played. I'm really nervous for Amechi.
Okay, why?
I don't think he's ready for this, frankly. I mean, look, law school is one thing. Designing an app that might help revolutionize the way people record their games. Whatever. I've heard it all before. I don't think he's prepared to reach the sarcastic ass-hattery that is over under Kevin.
It's true. Amechi, are you aware of Kevin's record on this?
I understand it might be a little less than stellar.
I don't think
that's right?
accurate at all. I think I've been very consistent.
Your Honor, I'd like to submit Exhibit A, which is that Kevin has never won this game that bears his own name in it.
Per se. But I would like it noted for the record. Objection. I would like it noted for the record that I did choose TJ Dillashaw last week and would have won people a lot of money.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Contention number C. I'd like to go ahead and bring up the fact that, yeah, Kevin did get one right out of 12 fights, which means that he has terrible, terrible comprehension of how this game works.
We're going to need to go through voir dire.
Let's talk about nice. Let's talk about the fact that it does put, I mean, the more you lose, the more pressure you put on the new guest, right?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
That's right.
So basically I have the biggest balls for stepping up here.
Oh, good for you.
Right?
That is true.
I like that.
Top three, probably. Top three. I mean, obviously
balls.
James Coe's balls I don't think are comparable, but yeah, probably top three.
So let's explain how this is going to work. I'm going to basically go down the card at random. I'm going to pick a fight to go ahead and do this. As we go down the card, I'm going to give you guys each 15 seconds to say who you think is going to win said fight. And if I so deem it, I will give you 15 seconds for rebuttal time. Those are the basic rules. I want this to be an unfair fight. Gentlemen, do you understand these rules?
Do it.
Go fuck yourself.
Go fuck yourself is an acceptable phrase that lets me know you both acknowledge and appreciate my candor. Before we start, I would like to say this real quick. Hey, Amechi, can you put on some earmuffs real quick?
They're muffed.
Thank you. Kev, sidebar.
Phrasing. Yeah.
Shut up.
Sidebar.
Okay, you have to win this one, though.
I know. Frankly, it's been embarrassing for a while, but it only gets worse if I don't.
Kev, it's embarrassing enough to do this podcast with you, but every time it's like you lose this game, and I can only get away with pretending like you have a chance so many times, so you have to win.
It's not on purpose, Raph. It's not on purpose.
Well, fucking get your shit together.
This isn't helpful.
Flip a coin.
This isn't helpful.
Flip a coin.
Sidebar over.
Okay, sidebar over. Done. Hey, Amechi, come on back.
All right, unmuffed.
All right.
Phrasing.
You know what, guys? I'm so enthralled by the potential of this matchup. We're going to start right with this first match with 15 seconds on the clock. Kevin, who is going to win the fight between Kajan Johnson versus Tae Hyung Bang?
I'm afraid you didn't say that right. Do you mean the Bang Johnson fight? Is that what you're referring to?
It's Kajan Johnson.
That's Bang Johnson. I'm going with the supernatural Tai-Hyun Bang because I want to hear Bang said as many times as possible.
All right, I'm going to go over to Amechi. Who do you have in this?
Well, I was going to go with Bang as well because he goes with the Korean top team. And I just like the fact that they have American top team, Brazilian top team, and Korean top team. But I'm going to be contrarian and go with Big Johnson because I can go against the Big Johnson.
Phrasing. All right, Kev. I'm going to go ahead and give you 15 seconds rebuttal because that opened up too many doors. Go for it.
I mean, of course, he's picking the guy with a bear, maybe tiger print tattooed on his chest. I think that's the easy choice, but I feel like Tai-Hyun Bang is going to bang his way through this fight.
I would like to point out that it's Bang versus Johnson, so really, come on, guys. Grow up.
Fair.
Amechi, do you feel that Kevin's already off to a bad start?
I think that there was a very sound logical basis behind his analysis. So, I think he's on a good path here. This is going to be a good session, I think.
All right, I like it. Guys, we're going to go to our next fight. We're going to start with Amechi. 15 seconds on the clock. Who's going to win the fight between Ryan Jimmo versus Ovin Sampuro? Go.
This is tough because it's a Canadian who does splits in the robot after he wins versus a guy who blatantly ripped off GSP's nickname. But rip-off notwithstanding, going with OSP mostly because it reminds me of a buddy I had in Youngstown, Ohio. So for that legitimate reason, OSP.
What a random moment to say that you're going to go just because he reminds you of some guy you know.
He does, man. The after the post-fight interview where he has the lisp and everything, and he's trying to hold back a smile. I'm like, oh, yeah. That reminds me of my friend, so I'm going with him.
Well, let's make sure that he knows that you just shouted him out on our podcast. Kevin, who do you got for 15 seconds? Go.
Well, this is easy because I have Ryan Jimmo, a.k.a. The Big Deal, and here's why. He looks a lot like Tito Ortiz, especially if you're like 6 Bud Lights in. I'm hoping Dana White gets confused and tells him his career's over because he fought in Bellator.
Ooh, great analysis. Let's
Big
go ahead and go
subplot,
over to Amechi. What is the possibility that Dana also tries to bring in Jenna Jameson into the situation? 15 on the clock, go.
I think Jenna Jameson is open for any type of situation where I'm going to stop there.
Phrasing.
Let's keep this I'm going to keep this PG. So. Yeah.
Well, that ship sailed a long time ago.
Yeah.
Kev, 15 seconds just for funsies. Go.
Yeah, well, OSP is minus 140, which means underdog alert for Ryan Jimmo. Ryan, seriously, though, stop shaving your head like a testicle. Like, you need to grow some hair somewhere in that vicinity because you look a lot like Tito Ortiz or a Polish criminal.
All right.
Nowhere in between.
That was, I think that's as good a time as any to transition to our next fight. We're going to go over back to Kevin. It's going to be Daniel Rastafarian versus Kichi Kumamoto.
I mean, I'm obviously picking Daniel Rastafarian. It feels like for obvious reasons. People are all on board about that, right?
Okay. I think so. I think we get what you're putting down. Amechi, who do you have?
I'll go with the contrary. I don't know the Kichi guy. I've heard of Serafian, but he seemed like a total rage monster. So we'll see that anger makes him sloppy, and hopefully Kichi Kunamoto will be able to take him out, take advantage of that. I really have nothing. He sounds like a Naruto character. I really have no idea. Kakashi Sensei, I don't know, man.
Kev, do you feel that Amechi's starting to wane now? Do you see him starting to drift? Do you think this is the moment to take care of him?
I think he's mostly just picking names that sound like someone in the Last Samurai cast. I don't think he's really focused on the objective here of picking UFC fighter winners. So, yeah, I think this is my time.
I just don't want to do the cop-out thing and agree with you every time. You know, it's just... That's
well, history would prove that to be a very winning strategy to just not choose the ones I choose, and you are fine.
All right, we're gonna go over to our next fight, and Amechi, I'm gonna have you do this one. It's gonna be Ryan Bader versus Rafael Savante. So go.
It's Rafael Cavalcante, or say Savante?
Mm-hmm. That's what I said.
Okay, there you go. I gotta say that. Rafael, most importantly because he has the power R in his first name, like Hoist, Hickson, Henzo, and Hodger.
As someone with an R in my name, I do understand the power R. Kev, what do you think of that, though? 15 seconds.
Wait, did he just pick Rafael? Is that who he
yes,
picked?
I did.
Oh, man. Come on. No one with the name Raph is winning martial arts contest. I think I speak for everyone when I say that. I'm going with Uneven Abs Bader.
I'm going to go ahead and stop you right here just for my own interjection. As an objective moderator host, I'd like to say fuck you, Kevin.
That is very objective of you, right? That's good.
As we both know, my name has a winning record, just not for me. I mean, for other people, it obviously wins, but for me, not so much. But Kev, let me see if I can really bring this to your point. I'm going to give you 15 seconds to remark on this. Do you think Amechi is not yet figured out that sometimes the names are mispronounced as to throw him off? 15, go.
I think he's obviously struggling with finding the right fight to pick on his iPad while you say the name. He's like, wait, what the fuck did he say? So it's a classic rookie mistake. It could happen to anyone. I just happen to be, a veteran.
It's true. Amechi, do you feel that Kevin is just showing a little bit of his cards on how he's playing it? Didn't it sound like he has his iPad and he's doing those exact same things?
I think that's what it is, rubber glue. I think,
You want to expand on the rubber glue part? Sorry, not to interject as the moderator.
Hold on. I just stop you, Kev. Rubber glue has won all of the debates we've had so far. So let's go ahead and go to our next fight. And I'm going to throw this one Kevin's way. It's going to be Jason Sago versus Josh Shockley.
This is the easiest choice on the card. Everyone's picking Josh Shockley for the simple reason of Bruce Buffer might say Josh Shocker. And YouTube would light on fire.
It would light on fire?
Well, from overusage. It's like a heat thing.
Okay. I wasn't sure you figured out that metaphor as you were saying it. Amechi, will YouTube light on fire, or is Jason Sago going to take this?
You know what? I'm going to go against what I just said and go with Shockley as well. Most because he has that big tatted arm, a tribal tattoo that I fully expect is made of dark magic. So my left-handed magical power punch, he will knock out Sago.
Okay. Kev, do you feel that magic has any room in this debate?
I hope he uses that magic to get Buffer to accidentally call him Shocker. I think I've been pretty clear on what I hope he does with the thing.
Amici, did you, as you were saying that pick, regret the fact that you were agreeing with Kevin for any reason?
It hurt my soul a little bit. A little bit of me died, I think, but
should be nervous.
Yeah.
Wow, Kev, I think you're getting inside his head. Good job.
I think I'm there.
There's a lot of room in there.
Let's go to our next fight. Amici, it is Rory McDonald versus Tyrone Woodley. Go.
I'm gonna go with Woodley off the fact that Rory's a hipster, and I really wouldn't mind seeing him get beat down. I just don't understand hipster culture. I think it's genius that nerds united and tricked pop culture to think that neon sunglasses, a bow tie, and sports coat over a t-shirt's cool, but being real, they're nerds, and they should
You
lose.
did run out of time there, but I did want to let you finish because I think everybody hates hipsters. So,
Yeah.
Kev, your response?
Put some fake glasses on me, a winter cap in the summer, and I'm going to just tie some jeans that are dick tight to my ankles. I'm going with Rory McDonald, and here's why. Tyrone Woodley injured my man.
Kev, here's what we're going to say. I've never told you not to say a certain phrase on the podcast. Like, I've never actually said.
That's true. You've been very clear. You've never said that.
Don't say the following words. I'm going to put the first set of words I will not allow you to put on the podcast anymore. Any guess what they are?
I have a pen. I'm ready for them. I don't.
Okay. Never repeat the phrase. I'm sorry. How did you describe his jeans?
Dick tight.
Dick tight.
Okay. Let's never do that again. Let's all remember where we were. So that way when I reference it and I give you a timeout, I'm going to be like, Kev, remember that time you said dick tight jeans? Thank you. You're off the podcast. Okay. Now that we've taken a moment to stop for that, Amici, I'm going to go back to you. Woodley, destructive against Condit, but did we see enough to really know that against Roy McDonald, he's got a chance to beat him?
Yeah, I think that now he's learned how to use his hands. He's a significant threat to anybody in the weight class, and I think he was banging with Condit before the leg injury. So, yeah, I think he can beat Roy.
Okay. Kev, I mean, I don't know that you've ever really been a Rory McDonald fan, but why today?
No. This is actually Tyrone Woodley's minus 130, by the way, and I think it's pretty clear. I'm just making an allegiance on the fact of I think Tyrone Woodley conned it on an injury day. It happens in the sport, and I don't think he's going to be able to overcome the roarsters.
I will say, Kevin, this is your most ride or die chick moment I think you've ever had. This is like someone wronged your man, and you're not going to let them live it down.
Can't do it. I just can still see it playing in my head, and I don't like it at all.
I understand.
Didn't you ride or die with Tim Boach pretty hard?
For fuck's sake, Amechi, I'm trying to ride my confidence train. This isn't the Marines. I gotta let them go. I can't remember the last, Okay. Now he's in my head, Raph.
I had a visual of Kevin's confidence train, and it's a train with no tracks. It's just one little caboose that sits in the middle of a desert that never goes anywhere. Hey,
the conductor's just drinking half a handle of whiskey, pissing himself.
Kev, you know what was funny? So, unrelated note, we're going to pause the game for a second. When I was asking Travis about, like, early Kevin, that's the high school Kevin that we all know, or never got to know if you would, I was like, yo, what was something about Kevin? Tell me something about him. And he was just like, yeah, man, I don't know. I guess the best word to describe Kevin was, like, preppy. And I immediately thought to it, I go, I can see it. So, yeah, of course it would make sense. You'd go for the hipster.
Yeah.
Was that how you described
compared
yourself?
to Travis Conley, that like he pulls apart his S10 just for funsies and rebuilds the engine. So just consider your source on who's calling who preppy. Is all I'm saying.
I'm just saying, Kevin. I mean, I can see it. I mean, I knew you were a ball boy for the football team. I think that's really exciting. I don't know, man. That's really cool. Am I off on this? Am I wrong?
Well, I was a ball boy in my youth, like when I was little, not as an adult, not in high school.
Okay. All right.
They wouldn't let me when I was in sophomore. They said it wasn't.
Let's get on a resume.
They were like, it's weird. It's just weird.
All right.
It does look good. You don't know how many jobs I've almost gotten because it said Spring Hill Broncos 95 ball boy. They loved it.
Guys, I think we're ready for our next fight. And Kev, we're going to start with you on this one. It's Yves Jabroni versus Mike Easton.
I wish it were Jabroni. I got to go with the Hulk, Easton, just because he's a local guy. Though I love Tiger as a nickname. Yves' face picture in his UFC. I'm going with Mike Easton. He's explosive. He's big. He's experienced. He's going to beat up the Canadian fighter.
All right. What do you think about this? Do you have to agree and go Hulk, Amechi, or do you go with Jabroni?
Well, I do
lead the witness. Objection, leading the witness.
I'm not leading. I'm just letting him know what's already been stated, idiot.
Well, I have a very sound logical basis for choosing the Hulk. I'm friends with his sister.
It'd be a good start for somebody here.
I'm friends with his sister, Naja Easton, on Facebook. So clearly, Mike will win that bout. I mean, there's, if you look at the
name dropper,
on that, I'm kind of a big deal. I don't know if you know that.
You are a big deal sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, so
he's Facebook friends with Mike Easton's sister. So,
yep.
Wow, Kev, this is impressive. I didn't know we had somebody who shared a Farmville.
I didn't want to bring it up.
A person who a person knows, but Jesus,
One time she liked a BJJ Training Journal.
Oh, you heard about that
post? So,
but you know what the sad part is? She did it by accident. It was supposed to be the post above it. She rescinded the like. It was a rough story. Kev, tell me something about this right now. Okay. Do you feel that you were the one leading the charge on the Easton train here?
I don't feel like I'm necessarily leading the train so much as driving all of Amechi's answers and cognitive thought. I feel like he's hopping on and just following me as the foreman to salute. He would never make. I'm running out of court metaphors. I'm fresh out of things I know about.
It was a train,
and
then it was a court metaphor. You're really trying, and you can't get a clear visual. Amechi, what's the fastest way to put Kevin down? If you were to if you had to, what was the fastest way you would do it? Just tell us.
Book him a flight on United.
I'd say he's not the foreman. He's more like the foreskin, and that I'm working on I have logical sound basis for my choices here. So I think we're good.
All right, guys, are you ready for this next fight? I don't care for you to answer, so I'm just going to go ahead. Amechi, the next fight is Andrei Arlovsky versus Brandon Schaub. Who do you have?
I have Schaub because Dana said for Arlovsky, pretty much I brought him back because I like him. That's the most not the most ringing endorsement for Dana. Things like he's getting older, he needs another shot, So, come on, that's not a reason to get back in UFC.
All right, Kev, your thoughts? 15 on the clock.
Amechi is fucking just spinning his wheels here. He's wildly wrong. Brendan Schaub's now officially dating Ronda Rousey, meaning he has other shit on his mind. He's not worried about Andrei Arlovsky, who I can assure you only has one thing to live for, and that is this fight.
Kev, I do need to stop you here. I'm going to go back over to Amechi. Amechi, are you overlooking the fact that Brandon Schaub runs away a little bit?
He does run away, but he also sticks to a game plan to win as opposed to trying to put on a performance. You saw him in Metamoris, right? Like, he didn't care that the audience was booing, whatever. He just wanted to win. So I think he'll stick to the game plan, try and take down Arlovsky and win.
Okay, Kevin, same concept, but are you aware that Brendan Schaub has great cardio?
I'm very aware he's got great cardio because I saw him run a half marathon while fighting Cyborg. I would not clarify that as him trying to win Metamoris. I would clarify that as him trying to just continue to collect a paycheck and stay pretty for the Rousey, which I get. I get that.
I understand that. That's perfectly fine. It's an acceptable answer. Gentlemen, this is about the time when I like to remind our guest.
Yes.
Amechi, I don't know if you know this, but we do have stakes for this.
Yeah.
Oh, have you been thinking about this?
You know what? It was first I'm like looking at who the hell's fighting this card? Who are these guys? I don't know who they are. And then right before the show, I'm like, oh crap, there's some stakes. And I expect Kevin's a little more creative than I am about these things. So I have some.
You're going to defer to Kevin to start with then, okay? Yeah,
right.
Checkmate.
Taking up?
Do it.
Absolutely.
Okay. Wow, Kev. That's a huge advantage for you going into this next fight, which is Roland DeLorean versus Michinori Tatanka. Kev, you've got 15 on the clock. Go.
Yeah. Roland DeLorme is a local Canadian. I'm going with Michinori Tanaka based solely on a positive use of racism.
Okay. Racism is an acceptable card to play here. Michi, who do you got? 15.
I don't care if it's a cop out or not. I'm going to go for Michinori Tanaka as well because I'm certain his nickname is Michi, so he's my Japanese brother. So I got to go with my Japanese brother.
Fair. Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
Fair. I didn't think about the fact that it had so much of that in the name.
Wow. I'd like to really say that both of you had sound reasons to support who you are supporting, like the soundest reasons. It was racism and sounds like my name. This is the type of
spell Michinori Tanaka without a Michi.
Exactly.
Fuck
all those other podcasts that are going to tell you who wins based on striking percentages. This is where the real action is at, my friends. All right, guys. Final fight. Collect yourselves. Think about it. This is where it gets real. I'm going to start with the Michi. And the fight is Demetrius Johnson versus Ali Bagamanov.
I'm going to take the Bagaganoush because his training consists of throwing big rocks. There's actually a video of him taking rocks, destroying some poor high school's football field by slamming it down inside the turf again and again. I love it. Throwing giant rocks. Oh, love it. Ice cold.
All right. Kev, what do you say? 15.
Well, it's hard for me to compliment such a worthless adversary, but God, that's great analysis, and I'm really jealous that I have to pick Demetrius Johnson for the pure reason of I'm following James Coe's advice. I'm going with my instincts and reversing them. I thought Bagatinov was going to win. I'm going with Demetrius, but spoiler alert, no one's getting knocked out or submitted in this fight.
Oh God,
not the Demetrius Johnson fight.
Stop it, Kevin. No, you need to learn your lesson.
Rubber, Raph, they're 125 pounds. You could throw them off a building, and like a cat, they would land on their feet.
That we do a fight with the
they
little guys.
Swing at each other, they hit each other, and nothing happens. Nothing.
Okay. This brings up a good point. Gentlemen, did you even know there was a pay-per-view until I told you next week?
No, it was unclear. Yeah. It was actually...
As opposed to I wasn't sure. Weekend,
Yeah. Until Amechi came
Before
on.
we go into a review of how excited on a scale from 0 to 10 you are for this match, do you think we're hitting an age of fatigue? There was the 2 sets of events that were back-to-back. Then there was a match this weekend, and then we're going into a pay-per-view again. My question starts to Amechi.
Oh, fuck you.
I see it as like running a parallel to when professional wrestling got really huge. It was getting bigger and bigger and bigger with the whole NWO in the Generation X, and it was everywhere, and then it hit that moment where it just crashed because it was just too saturated. And my concern is that we're getting there with MMA as well. Personally, I like it because I just love having everything to choose from. I don't see it as a problem, but as far as mainstream, I totally see us getting there.
Okay, Kev, your thoughts?
Well, I have 2 fact checks for you. First of all, I completely agree. It is getting a little redundant. Plus, this is a lackluster card. I'll watch it. I'm not going to buy it. I'll have to go to a bar to watch this thing. It's not a very good fight card for what they're going to charge.
Now, again, scale 0 to 10. How excited are you? 10 being most excited. Amechi, 0 to 10.
I'll go 6.
Okay, Kev?
3. Tops.
3. Wow. If you could pay a certain amount of money, what would that money be for this card? How much would you pay for this card?
$10.99.
Okay.
Less than
than an Invicta.
$19.99. Yeah.
All right. This is good to know. Gentlemen, I need your fight of the night and performances of the night guesses. So let's
Is
go ahead
there
and start
one
with
more
Kevin.
fight, though? Isn't Valerie Letourneau versus Elizabeth Phillips?
Is that on the card?
I'm staring at that fight. That was my first fact check.
That was your first fact check?
Yeah.
I didn't see it. That means nothing,
Helpful.
though.
Yeah. I was like,
It wasn't on the Wikipedia link that I looked at to see who was fighting.
I'm seeing it on the UFC fight card. So sometimes Raph genuinely knows more than me about these, even more than the UFC. So I was like, did he leave it off or is it on there?
Well, right now on the Wikipedia pages is not there. So let's discuss that.
FX
However,
prelims, it's on the UFC Fight Pass early. UFC Fight Pass brought to you by
I see it.
fuckers. Just fuckers.
it's on the website, but it is not here on the Wikipedia page. And as we know, Wikipedia can shift and go about. I personally like 11 because it's an odd number. So, all right, who do you think's going to win? Go.
Elizabeth Phillips, obviously. Phillips, I mean, for the same reason that, what's his name, Tanaka or Amici, whatever. So, clear.
Well, actually, you mentioned it's on the UFC website. I'm going there now. Elizabeth Phillips is one of the people that has a shadow silhouette thing going on. And Valerie has an actual photo. So I'm going with the legitimate Valerie Trouble. How do I ever say it? Letourneau? I don't know. I'm going with her because she has a real picture. Another solid analysis by Amechi Akpom, everyone.
If that fight happens, cool. We have the predictions. If not,
Wikipedia was right.
Wikipedia was right. I mean, I don't know, Kev. It is not a bad notion to have that maybe the people who were plugging in the fights to Wikipedia also were at about a 3 and were like, fuck that, I'm not putting
I hope it says that in the footnotes. It's like, total disclaimer, we're at a 3 on Raph's 0 to 10 excitement scale, so we just forgot it.
Yep. All right, Amici, who do you have for fight of the night and performances of the night? And remember, performances of the night can be anybody. It doesn't have to be 2 people involved in the same fight.
All right. So 2 people for performance or just 1 person?
It's 2 people.
Okay. I'm going to go with, for the fight of the night, Rory McDonald, Tyron Woodley. I think it's going to be a really good fight. Both tough as nails and have something to prove if they want a shot at the title. Performance of the night, Ali Bagaganov?
Close enough.
Yes. Dude, when he wins the title, he can't go without winning performance of the night. So, he's got to take it.
All right, Kevin, who do you have?
Okay, for fight of the night, I have Arlovsky versus Schaub.
Okay.
Heavyweights. Heavyweights are always really good. For performance of the night, this is my big handicap, Tyron Woodley. For second performance of the night, I am going back to the Bang Johnson card and going with Tai Hyun Bang.
Based on
Pure fucking nothing. I don't have a thing. I just wanted to say Bang Johnson again.
Of course
Man,
you
can
did.
Maybe this is why I keep losing.
You know what?
Yes.
Can you tell that our interest level is so low in this card? Dear God, like we're reaching so freaking hard. I mean,
We just fooled all of these people into listening to a segment to get excited for a card that everybody's at about a meh.
Oh.
4.5 average.
trying, man.
Average. So let me ask you this, Kevin. Do you have the bet in mind?
I do have the bet in mind.
Ooh, I like this.
He has this little app, BJJ Training Journal. I have this little podcast. I will, if I lose, I'll do a commercial endorsing his product.
Okay.
1 minute. We're talking like 1 minute, 1.5 YouTube variety. I will do it for BJJ Training Journal.
I like that. That's a good stake right there. All right. Amechi, do you have a counter or do you have an idea you'd like to propose?
I thought we were choosing what the other person would do. Like, I thought he was going to have something. Because what I thought of was,
Okay.
I like the fact you had to post a picture on Facebook. I was going to have you paint a Mike Tyson tattoo on your face, announcing that you're changing your names to Kayvon Dick Tyke Philippe. I think that would be a
Okay.
pretty good one.
Okay,
Bad.
so
Okay.
now that I like where you're at genre-wise. Okay,
Kev, did
so
you
if
notice though that Amechi heard that you were going to do something for his brand and product? It was like, hell no! I'm
I
not
did hear
letting
that.
kid
I noticed that
anywhere
subtlety.
near
Yeah,
my
it's a backhanded
bread
insult.
and butter.
Okay, you have to write verbal tap rocks on your forehead and my initials on your chin. And hold on, let's come up with, because I like so I've got the Tyson noted.
Kevin is now like making this official by writing it down. That's the best.
He's
Right
manifesting it to the universe. He's writing it down.
He's
Yeah.
got to get this ratified by 2/3 Congress. So,
And I just want you to put your name as Amechi the VTs. That's it.
the VTs.
wow, guys, you have reached a level of maturity on this bet that I don't know we've ever seen. You basically reduced our show, our nice little fun game that we have here, to whoever falls asleep first at a frat party and gets a
Yeah,
dick
what do
on their
you
face.
think? 24 gets a dick on it. What do you think? 24 hours for the picture,
Yeah, it works.
Amechi?
Yeah, it works.
24. Oh, that worked. You hear that retreat in his voice, Raph? If he was resolute, he'd have been like 48. There's doubt creeping in there.
I don't even remember what my picks are. I'm gonna have to listen to this again. Like that.
Well, actually, funny you should mention that. We usually is the caveat here. Put an asterisk next to that, my friend, because I'm obviously voting against you coming back on. Usually we bring the winner of Over Under Kevin back on the next week. Or the loser, I guess. We just haven't gotten a chance to test that yet.
Yep. So if you are around and available next week, we'll be back in contact with you. We'll have you back on the podcast, and we'll see what happens. So you don't need to write down anything. I will write them down. I have written them down, and we'll see who wins.
Service with a smile. I like it.
Yep.
Phrasing.
Less phrasing. But you know what, though, Amechi, we want to thank you for stopping by here. I love the game that you brought today, even if it was a little confusing that you agreed with Kevin at times. But the more important parts are that you didn't agree with him at times. So I thank you so much for that. And any closing words to Kevin that you want to put and the fear into his face before you leave here today?
And I just really look forward to seeing the name change of the thoroughly offensive Dick Tight. Kayvon Philippe. I think that's just, I like it.
Jesus Christ.
Can I just ask, he said foreskin and you didn't ban that.
You know what? He did it cleverly. He was basing it off of a pun, so at least he was
And now-
playing within the realm of what was mentioned. You, however, just brought it up willy-nilly for no reason, so, you know.
Well, you're now
Ban.
peaking a little bit.
Damn it.
So good times. I will wrap. I'll just go ahead and give the outro for Amechi. Ladies and gentlemen, from BJJ Training Journal, the mastermind behind your favorite way to document your moves, follow your game, and track your mat progress. Amechi, we really appreciate you being on the podcast this evening.
Hey guys, I always appreciate you having me on here. You guys are freaking hilarious, even though your picks are horrible. I do love being on here, so hope to
go check out BJJ Training Journal for all the Amechi you can handle.
So I'll see you guys again when I win. Over under.
Go fuck yourself. I don't think that's actually. Verbal Tap fans, we have on the line, not metaphorically, literally, the baddest brown belt in the planet. We know this because he just won the baddest brown belt tournament. Try saying that a lot of times.
I did.
Out there, put on by Dream. Shut up, Raph. Put on by Dream Jiujitsu from Easton Training Center out there, Boulder, Denver, Colorado. We have on the line Brian Carlsen. Brian, how are you doing this evening?
Doing well, man. Just hanging out.
Do you have an IV in right now? How are you recuperating after the submission-only tournament?
Yeah, I went in last night, trained for like a half hour and called it. Today I'm just resting, drinking like a gallon of coconut juice and sleeping like every 2 hours.
Whoa. Slow down there. That's too much partying, young sir. I have to ask this because, I got the chance to talk with Brian. We had a media day for the baddest brown competition. One thing I think that really sets it apart from everything else, I actually got to interview all of the people competing in the tournaments, and the last person I interviewed, Kevin, was Brian.
Yeah, that would make sense because he won.
Well, no. I mean, just like at the very beginning, before the whole matches came up. But he was the last person I talked to, and it was kind of oh man, this kid's super nice. All right, cool. Let's see what happens. Oh my God, he's winning. He's winning a lot.
Now, Raph, I think the question on everyone's mind is, did you know at that point that he was going to win?
Yes, of course. As a true media expert, I can look into someone's eyes during an interview and say, he's going to win. And I did.
You have the
Brian,
sixth sense.
I do.
Yeah, we'll call it that. Brian, tell us about competing at the tournament. Why did you agree to compete? Talk to us a little bit about the process of you saying, yeah, I'm going to go find out if I'm the baddest brown belt in a submission-only format.
It was really pretty simple. Dan, one of the guys who set everything up, hit me up on Facebook, asked if I wanted to do it. I saw that it was the week after Worlds. My grandparents live in L.A., so I just got to hang out there for the week. And, yeah, I said, yeah. It was a pretty easy decision. I love competing, so the more the merrier, right?
I love that, by the way. Part of his faction was just like, yeah, screw it. My grandparents live in L.A. I'll stay and compete in this holy hell competition of endless misery because fuck it. I'll get to hang out with the Grammys for a week. So that's fantastic. You were training for Worlds. You were gearing up for it. Talk to us a little bit just outside of the specific tournaments. What's your training schedule like, and what's your sort of mentality towards jiu-jitsu and how you approach the game?
I've been competing basically every other weekend since last December 2013. Wow. So I've been traveling a bunch. I wanted to hit it hard this year. Like I traveled all summer last summer. I graduated from school. Then I broke my arm actually in 2012 at Worlds. I was supposed to travel that year and it didn't quite happen. So recouped off of that and decided to take last summer and travel. I got back and I had the itch, I wanted to get back, hit it hard and see what I could do in the competition scene. So, my training partner and I, James Strader-Smith, decided to hit it hard. We hit probably 12 competitions since December, something crazy like that. And we had a great camp setting up for Worlds. We were training twice a day, drilling once a day, so, basically 4 hours of jiu-jitsu a day, and then I was doing CrossFit 3 times a week to keep my strength up.
That's insane. I mean, do you have friends? Am I going down a dark alleyway here? Do you?
I mean,
and if you do they wonder about you and where the hell you are all of the time?
I actually gave everybody a notice because I usually I do a lot of sports. I rock climb, mountain bike, kayak, and I kind of have like my groups of friends that I do those sports with. And I kind of let them all know. I was like, look, I'm going to be out for like the next 6 months. All I'm doing is jiu-jitsu. So I'll see you guys in the summer.
Wow, what a great way to be friendly with your closest pals. It's
I like how upfront he is.
Yeah. I hope that he actually sends something via the post system where they get something in the mail and then they just look at it. It's like, oh, this is a postcard that says, I'm never seeing you again for 6 months.
It was actually a cat meme.
That's way smarter and way more cunning for the internet. So, okay, so you're competing and constantly, and you get this call about Baddest Brown, and you hear it's submission only, and it's after the Worlds, and you end up doing it, and you stay the extra week. What is your mentality going into the Worlds just like a day before the tournament?
I always try to focus on just the next thing at hand. So before tournament, it's only that tournament. Before a match, it's only that match. Like, the rest of it doesn't matter. I really try to stay focused on the task at hand. So going into Worlds, the day before, we always take a rest day. We kind of hang out with each other, go down to the beach, mess around, take our minds off the tournament. It was pretty relaxed. Like, we've been competing so much now that we kind of have our rituals down, and we just kind of fall into that zone, and then, competition hits and you flip the switch and make it happen.
All right. So then we get to the actual tournament, and there's 31 other people. Now, level with me. You can tell me. You don't have to say names, but is there anybody that you were scared to face?
I wouldn't say scared, but definitely there was those nerves like, oh, man, that guy's really good. I know his name. Definitely, two of the top names, Sebastian Broch and Max Jimenez. I actually trained with Max down in Brazil. I spent 6 weeks down there, so I knew how good he was. And Sebastian, beat one of the Nya brothers last year in the absolute division, so he's a freaking animal as well.
So let me get this straight. You were most, I would say, appropriate term, nervous to face two people you ended up facing, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Because I want to make sure that people know that you didn't just get handed a lottery ticket and then just go, ooh, I won the Baddest Brown. That was weird. I only had one match. It was pretty fun. You had a grueling hour and 30 minutes worth of mat time, which, Kevin, if you are playing at home, and this is not a detriment to you because you're a warrior, but there was one match that was just that, 96 minutes worth of rolling. One match was just that, just to give you a level of an intensity of the caliber of competition that was there. Because here's the thing, and maybe you can tell me differently, Brian, when you get to that level and you have these people who are pre-selected for an invitational tournament and they're all brown belts, is it less of a game of I'm really good at jiu-jitsu and more of a game of, well, who's going to win today and who's going to break?
Man, that's a great question. I think it depends. Like, brown's kind of a weird belt. Like, white, blue, purple, they're definitely the guys. Like, you look at Edwin, who just freaking crushes everybody in purple belt, right? And you kind of look at, the black belts. Like there are a lot of black belts who compete, but you see the same 5-10 guys in the finals every year. So there's levels and levels, Brown belt's kind of this weird limbo, I feel like, because a lot of guys kind of get stuck there and really try to make it happen at brown, and then they have a lot of experience, and some guys just freaking blow through it. Like, you look at Keenan, Jackson, Souza, the Nya brothers, like, they were only brown belts for 1 year. I've been a brown belt for almost 2.5 years now. So I'm definitely playing the long game, and it's kind of weird. You see guys kind of pass you in the it feels like you're in the slow lane sometimes when you have these superstars coming up by you. So, it's kind of weird. Like, you'll get those superstars who just hand it to you, and you're just like, wow, that guy's really good. But for the most part, once you get deeper into the tournaments, like after the first round, second round, all the matches are close. Like a lot of it just becomes a strategy game. Like, especially if you've faced a guy before, you know, you kind of know their game, they know your game, and you gotta play the clock a little bit and hope for the best at the end.
Well, you mentioned playing the clock, but there was no clock in a submission-only tournament.
Right.
So tell me a little bit about how playing the clock works for you in that given scenario.
Well, like my match against Sebastian was, I think it was like 52 minutes or something. And, man, I knew Sebastian was an animal. Like going into it, I'd watched a couple of his matches. I looked at some of his tournament results. I knew he was going to be probably the toughest guy there. In my opinion, he was the favorite to win. So going in, I knew if I tried to beat him in a timed match, like I was going to fall behind and, you know, make a poor mistake. So my whole game plan going into that match was to just fend him off, make him tired, make him a little bit frustrated, like wait for him to make a mistake and then capitalize on it. And luckily, you know, worked out for me.
And you beat Sebastian, but that was not the finals match.
No, that was the third match, the round of 8.
We keep kind of talking about it just because of its noteworthiness, but do you mind taking me through? I didn't get a chance to see them yet, and I'm really stoked as they become available to watch all of them because I'm a YouTube Jiu-Jitsu junkie. Talk to me about how you finished each opponent and what your comfort level is with each submission.
Yeah, going into the no-gi, I usually play gi. So I really like arm bars and lapel chokes from the back and stuff that doesn't work super well no-gi, especially once guys start getting slippery. So I got no-gi actually for all 5 rounds was no-gi for me.
And for those that don't know, it's a simple coin toss. And he somehow landed no-gi 5 out of 5, which I would go to Vegas if I were you, but I'll, you know.
Well, I'm not, because I was hoping for gi every match. So going into the no-gi, luckily a few of my training partners are just amazing at foot locks and leg locks, so I'm pretty used to them with them, and they work on them a lot with me. So going into it, I was like, okay, straight ankle locks, toe holds, and knee bars, like that's going to be your game. So I went in the first match, pulled guard, just went right to 50-50, stayed there basically the whole match. It was like 5 minutes, just kept working the ankle, and finished a straight ankle lock. Second match, that was a close one. It was very back and forth. Like I had his back, he had my back, and he almost got me in a knee bar. Like my leg was straight, and I was thinking about tapping. I kind of grimaced. I was like, no, you're good. And I rolled out, and a couple minutes later ended up taking his back and got a rear naked choke.
Like a man. I like that he's just like, I thought about tapping, and then I just gave myself a pep talk of adrenaline of, no, you're good.
And then I said, Brian, you're fine. Now take his fucking back and choke him out. Okay.
Your knee's totally worth $1,000. The third match was with Sebastian, and that one, you know, played the long game, waited for him to make a little mistake and get a little frustrated. I caught him with a knee bar coming out of inverted half guards position, which was really cool. And then my final 2 matches, I actually finished both with mounted front chokes, mounted guillotines. I ended up passing the guard, going right to mount, and just sunk them in, like worked my hand until I felt their trachea and freaking put those suckers on.
All right. So we're going to need you to put that video out called Mounted Guillotines, but Raph and I will talk to you about that off air.
Of course.
That's obviously
Well, we're obviously going to make money off of this. It's going to be a whole DVD instructional, right?
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. There's a specific email list you have to get on. And it's limited supplies only.
I mean, we don't really want to get too much into it. Obviously, we're getting 80%, you're getting 20% cut. I mean, but we'll talk about that later.
I mean, my manager needs 10% also, so.
Sweet.
No
so
problem.
then you're only getting 10.
Yeah, perfect.
No, that 10's coming out of your guys' end.
Sure.
Yeah. See,
Okay,
this is why
fine.
you don't do business on air.
I was about to say, I was like, I thought he was good at math, and I don't know that he really figured out that part. Sure, yeah. Okay, 70-30. You got us.
By the way, I'm
Brian.
serious too, so I'm really good with money.
We do not adhere to those stereotypes here on this Verbal Tap podcast. We are a wholesome.
Speak for yourself. I was going to have him do our books. Are you kidding? I was ready to go the opposite way on that, Raph. I was like, thank God, we've got a connection. Brian, did you do much research on your opponents going in?
And going into every tournament, I research only really like my first opponent, because after that, there's too many variations of who you're going to meet. So it was a little weird going into the Dream tournament, because they didn't tell you the bracket; they just gave you the group of 8. So you really only you only knew you had a 1 in 7 shot of getting a guy. I looked at some names and kind of picked out who I thought was going to be the best, toughest guys, and did a little bit of research on them. I don't like to do too much research, because I feel like it biases me, and if I get caught, I'm like, oh man, he didn't do that in any of his other matches, and I relied a little bit too much on it. So I just tried to look at a little bit of their video, get a feel for kind of how they play their game, and leave it at that.
Love it. It's a Donald Cerrone approach. For MMA fans out there, doesn't do tape. He's just. I hear you though. That can get in your head, which is nice. A nice appreciation of mixing both. Brian, what's next for you?
It's actually I'm going to China for a hacking competition. I told you guys I was a nerd.
Yeah.
So I've got that, and then I believe we have the UFC Fan Expo. There's Grappler's Quest there.
That's correct, yeah.
That's hitting up.
And those are great tournaments. So, oh man, I can't wait to see what happens there for you, my man.
Yeah, and then I think after that, the next one's going to be American Nationals, which is in August or September, something like that.
Yep, I think we were just talking about that. I think you're looking at about September. Yeah, so you've already started budgeting, and I'm not surprised here, more tournaments. Do you have to send out another card to friends and let them know you're not seeing them again?
We're going to have to see about that one.
Okay. I would assume they would hope to see you by now. But I do have to ask this, because this is something we haven't covered just yet. But what did everybody say at your gym when you came back home? What was the response like when you got back there yesterday?
It's actually funny. Everybody knows I'm a little bit of an introvert. I don't like being the center of attention too much. And everybody at the gym knows that. So the second I walked in, they friggin' started a slow chant and clapping. I was just like, I hate you guys so much right now.
Wow, what terrible friends you have. I'm beginning to see how this all works together. I just love that they're all like, I know what'll really burn his bridges. Clap for him. You're like the anti-Tinkerbell is, I guess, what you really are.
I think I'm going to steal that as my new nickname.
I was going to say, that totally beats Glacier. Anti-Tinkerbell on the back of his next rash card.
Strike fear into the heart of my enemies.
Well, Brian, I think we're impressed mostly because you've been very much under the radar, but you seem very comfortable in the spotlight. You have been doing some great interviews, and we've really enjoyed our press time with you. Are you on the social medias? Can people follow you on Twitter?
I am. Actually, I run all of our academy's social media. So at Easton TC is our Twitter handle. We have a Pinterest account under the same handle. Instagram, book. We're freaking everywhere, man. We're blowing the internet up right now.
Easton TC.
Yep.
If you're in the Boulder, Denver, Colorado area and you have 2 hours to kill, then you can roll with Brian Carlsen. If you only have 30 or 40 minutes, I'm afraid you're going to need to budget more time just based off of
just getting started then.
That's how he warms up. He just warms up with a 30-minute match.
Get that sweat going.
Brian, we really appreciate you coming on the podcast this evening. We will be sure to follow your future endeavors, and we have no doubt we are going to see more of you on the jiu-jitsu circuit. ladies and gentlemen, Brian Carlsen.
Thanks so much for having me, guys.
Let's get ready to shout out. Raph Esparza, we had Amechi here to lose violently in another
He hasn't
rousing
lost yet.
round. Shut up. He's lost. It's over. I hate how negative you are about this.
I'm not negative. I just point out facts. I think you hate facts.
I do hate facts. I'm from Kansas. The point is, he's done. I obviously called the fights right. I'm obviously correct in the ass beating that's going to occur, and I think you should just acquiesce to that.
The amount of gall that you have as a human being is impressive and both worrisome. So, kudos to you, sir.
Raph Esparza called me impressive and worrisome. That's the nicest thing you've ever said to me.
Actually,
Brian Carlsen.
Probably didn't hear that right, but okay. Brian Carlsen is an amazing human being. I'm glad I got to meet him this week. And more so than that, I was glad that I got to watch his jiu-jitsu. It was really impressive. And you really root for those kind of guys who just really believe jiu-jitsu and its heart and put it all out there. And I got to say this, Kev. I was so inspired by Brian and the 32 or 31 other participants for the baddest round today. During training, I had my own submission only, no time limit match today.
No shit.
Yes.
How'd it go?
Tiring.
Really awful.
Yeah. I did notice, though, I was like, I am definitely not the caliber of Viking Wong or Edmund Kim. Because those guys were beasts to roll for 96 minutes at the Baddest Brown tournament. But it is a great experience. And it is so nice to, let loose and not worry about points. Because, not like you keep points when you're rolling, but, fuck it. You just don't care.
Yeah, we kind of do at our gym. We do kind of. Some of us keep points together. We'll just kind of make a decision. So I definitely agree. I like the idea of mixing it up, and let that be a lesson to people out there training. Mix it up. Try something different.
Yep.
Do a fist bump and say, hey, let's screw the clock. Let's just keep going. I like that idea a lot. I really appreciate that you got Brian to come on the show and covering the Baddest Brown. I'm super jealous, especially since I spent most of that time flying or driving to and from an airport, which is a whole different story. But Raph, it's time for shout outs.
Yes.
I'll go first and allow you to collect your thoughts because I assume you have many.
I have a few.
Mine, first and foremost, to my father, who literally drove the hour and 20 minutes to the airport. He drove me 2. Then he drove back to pick me up. Then he drove me home. That's 3. The next morning, he had to take me there at a very calm and nice 5:30 a.m. before work. 2 more trips. As he pointed out, he drove me roughly 350 miles, which is just under half the way to D.C. From Kansas City. So he was very helpful in illuminating what an inconvenience it was for all of us, but he did it, and it was very helpful. So I appreciate that. BJJ and MMA Academy out there in Chantilly, VA. Can't wait to get some no-gi ass beating tomorrow night, which I fully expect. And I'm sure they'll be obliged to deliver. BJJ Finder, the world's premier jiu-jitsu site locator. You heard me accidentally call it that with Amechi earlier in the podcast, and hear me fully endorse it. And I think people understand BJJ. It starts with that. What are you going to do? BJJfinder.com. It's Yelp for jiu-jitsu schools. Raph, did you have an insult?
Wrist lock?
Wrist lock. I'm going to get wrist lock. He's worse with the wrist locks with the gi on, but he's deceptive with them no gi.
That's
and
so
still
terrible.
likes to attack them. So
That's so mean. And I hope he does it at least twice.
anyone in our gym that has a blue belt around their waist is well versed in the art of at least hopefully dodging the wrist lock, and that does not stop him from accomplishing it. Just as a heads up. And that's gonna do it for me, Raph. I'm all shouted out.
Awesome. Guys, I just need a second. I'm going to obviously start with Valley Martial Arts Center.
VMAC.
Oh, whoa, we didn't need to do that.
Yeah, we did. I got to keep it fresh. People were like, hey, add a whistle. I'm like,
No.
yeah, I should add a whistle. You're right.
My God, put away your rape whistle, please. Oh man, I need a moment after that. I want to thank everybody at Valley Martial Arts for great training, but I also want to just give a quick set of shout outs to the guys. There was a white belt tournament, and we actually had some of our folks from our gym do very, very well. Obviously proud of everybody there, but I did want to go ahead and give a couple specific shout outs to some of our folks. Pamela Moy, Deb Lopez, could not be proud of her, was rolling with her, pulled her aside and was like, you're going to win. And she just goes, no, I don't think so, Ralph. I mean, I'm probably not. I was like, you're going to win. You're going to fucking win. And the thing I kept saying to her was, I was like, you going to get out of this guard? She's like, I was like, show me. And then she would get out of the guard. I'm like, you're so ready for this. Also, Kimberly Mills. So, Kev, we had 3 of our girls all take gold. So,
Oh, shit.
super proud of that. Also want to give shout outs to our good friend Carlos Serrano, who I also told was going to be ready for that tournament. And he also, I think he took gold. So to him, Brian Singer, Marlon, all of those guys, congratulations. So proud of you. You guys always put such great heart out there. And I was so engrossed in jiu-jitsu this whole weekend. It was like anything on other, Kevin. I mean, I was updating you a little bit from the sidelines of what was going on, but
when you could, that's how busy you were with doing jiu-jitsu work.
It is very difficult when you're media team relations for jiu-jitsu. But I want to thank everybody who came out to the seminar that Travis Conley put together out in Encino. Travis, if you guys haven't taken a seminar from him, it's amazing. And Travis plays a very different game than I'm used to seeing or playing myself. So having him spend 3 hours going over techniques and instruction, and more importantly, he did this amazing Q&A session for everybody at the end where he gave so many easy, simple remedies to everybody's questions and problems, and he really focused in on what people needed to improve on. And I think everybody there left with something that they could improve on their individual jiu-jitsu, not just a general, like, here's a choke. Like, everybody left with something to improve their individual specific game. So
I'm not at all surprised because he's just also he takes teaching very seriously.
He really does. And I think as a true testament to him, everybody there who donated for his to help cover, costs of traveling and whatnot, we kept it really low so that we could try and get more people. They ended up giving him more money at the end because they thought the instruction was so high. And I think that's a testament
to people.
To Travis and everything he put together. So just quickly to shout people out, I would love to talk more about it, but I want to go ahead and shout out Johnny, Jordan, Clint, John, Kara, Shakib, Dennis, Ross, Alex, Mitch, Jonathan, Octavio, and of course, we want to thank Octavio, who was doing some nice film work. So we did record some of the seminar. We actually have a couple quick videos that we're going to put out in a few weeks. That are some fun things that Travis and I did. I did an interview with him, and he also helped a technique of mine, Kevin. I think you'll really enjoy it.
What technique is that?
Are you familiar with the figure 4?
I am not.
Oh, okay. Don't worry. We'll walk you through the whole process. It's maybe one of the most deadly moves of all time.
Is that like a half guard thing?
You could say that.
Oh,
well,
fuck you.
just wait.
I already know. No, I've done the math.
You've done the math. You really thought about it now, Kevin. Wow.
Well,
You're
not the math. Fair
one
point.
Of the fastest people I know. And the biggest, I think, thanks of all, this way of Travis has to go to Marcus Caval, who opened the doors to his gym to let us conduct a seminar. And not only did so, but I wouldn't let him pay, but he was trying to actually pay Travis for the instruction. And he was nice enough to open his gym to us. And like you said, jiu-jitsu people are great and amazing people. So that was truly something that was amazing to see. And our good friend Marcus, he's a fighter himself, so he responds to that want to get out there and fight. So I think him and Travis was great, and I'd like to think that Marcus got really cool instruction out of it. So my thanks to him. And just as a last big note, and I know it might take a second to get through this, but it's really important. I want to thank everybody over at Dream Jiujitsu and all the participants over at that tournament. Kev, I am not lying to you when I say I've never seen men go to war. Like, I know it's something completely different, but this is a grueling tournament. It really was taking things out of all of the participants. Obviously, there was a 32-man invitational brown belt, but there was also a purple belt weight division. They had 3 different weight divisions and 1 female category, and it was intense. Like, you could see it wear on these people, and my hat's off to them, because I don't know what that mentality is like, but watching them do it was so inspiring, and there were so many great stories. And what we hope to do in the coming days, when you guys see videos from Dream Jiu-Jitsu, is to really elaborate the love for sport. And I think getting to hear some of these people's stories really, really tells you the level of commitment that people who may not be Keenan Cornelius or your Buchechas also are putting in that heart and dedication. And I know when I went back to training myself, I went with a renewed sense of this is awesome, and I learned a couple tricks from it, and it was awesome. So my thanks to everybody who competed there, and specifically I want to thank our good friend Sean Megami and Dan Hubler for putting together a really, really exciting and fun tournament and letting us be a part of it. Of course, Kenny, AJ, all of our media team, just some really cool stuff. So we look forward to getting that all up and out there for you guys.
Are you done? You're all set?
I could think of some more people.
9 minutes worth of goddamn shout-outs?
It wasn't 9 minutes. You're over-exaggerating now.
Might have been 14. I haven't checked the official.
Kev, here's the thing. I appreciate people and their time, and I happen to be busy in the world of jiu-jitsu, unlike some people. Did you train when you were out in Kansas?
I don't think this is the time for questions like
that.
Oh,
okay.
I did a 6-mile thing in
not
the rain
jiu-jitsu.
With my sister.
You
Fair
take
point.
that shit
Not
on
jiu-jitsu.
a fucking walking podcast. I don't want to hear that on my fucking podcast. Ooh, I did a 10K. No one gives a shit.
I would love to be on a walking podcast if they exist. If someone could please call me and put me on it. Hey, that's going to do it for us here at Verbal Tap. I'm Kevin. Thanks for listening.
Good night and good fight.
Put it on a fucking walking podcast. That's something I would put on a t-shirt. That's great.
Yeah. Well, that's what happened.